Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Zemo the Dad in DPS, and we are back with another video. Now today's video is in relation to our video last week where we talked about farming caps. Today it's going to be about spending, but before we get into that, don't forget to leave a like, a comment and subscribe. So first off, why would you want to spend your caps? Well, there is a 40,000 cap limit, and when you reach that you can't get any more, so you have to get rid of them. The first thing I would recommend is legendary items. Now there are a lot of really poor legendary items in the game, and the reason you want to get these pretty crap legendaries is to script them. So quite often people will sell these for relatively decent prices. One of my favourite vendors is Jocko Horror, who quite often sells legendary items for 500 caps that I purchase off him on a near weekly basis. This I then trade in for script, and I'm all happy. I can also then store any excess ones, and it keeps me in a situation that's relatively comfortable throughout the week. On top of that, you can also get legendary items that are actually worth something. Now, these can range anywhere up to 1,000 to 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, 50,000, 900 million caps. Buying these items cheap is always a good idea. So I would recommend keeping your eye out in vendors for weapons that are relatively reasonably priced and or you need and or want. It's the best thing to spend caps on. It's going to get rid of most of them if you're not using things like aristocrats, and that's the aim of your game is to get caps down. Then yeah, you're going to be able to spend that in player vendors for legendary items. Now the second thing on my list is plans, and again you can go to player vendors and you're going to find a lot of very cheap plans. People that have been playing the game for years will absolutely rack up huge amount of plans, and quite often they'll just sell them in vendors relatively cheap. So if you ever make a new character, you've got an excess of caps and you need to spend them, hop between vendors and see what you can find. On top of that, there is rare plans that you can find from certain events and certain places, so keep your eye out for bargains. Then when we move on to NPC vendors all around the map, they sell things like weapon plans, which then could help you get mods for weapons that you don't have already, such as radium rifles, etc. So go into NPC vendors for weapons that you can then create and then make things to scrap to get mods rather. On top of that, there is vendors like the White Spring furniture vendor that has a load of camp items that you can basically unlock from there. So plans, generally good idea to buy them if you don't already know them. Now the next part is mutation serums. Now if you don't already know, mutations give you special effects in Appalachia, and they can be triggered two ways, either through radiation or from a serum. Now where do you get the serums? Well, you can buy them from people, or you can buy the recipes from them. To get this, you need to go through the Enclave questline, and you can get them at the White Springs bunker at the NPC that you're likely seeing on screen. Now these plans then allow you to create mutations, which again you can also sell. So it's a way to get caps as well as a way to spend caps, because these mutation serums are relatively expensive when you buy the plans. Now after that, the next thing that I spend caps on is scrap. And why scrap? Well, I run out of copper quite a lot because I use a lot of ammo, so buying things like copper, aluminum, whatever you want to call it, is something you can do. And you can get these things from any train station or generally any vendor NPC in Appalachia. If you check their junk tab, you'll be able to find bulk amounts of these, and it's a good way to get rid of caps if you are getting close to that limit. On top of that, you can also go to player vendors, and quite often they will sell things cheap as well, because sometimes people have an excess of certain things. Now the last thing that I would go on about in this video in regards to what you should spend your caps on is the almost de facto real currency of Appalachia, and that is Flux. Stable Flux, to be more precise. The reason why Stable Flux is so important is because if you go to any trading like on Reddit or on different Discord servers and things like that, you'll find that quite a lot of the time people use Flux in lieu of caps. Because Flux doesn't have an upper limit, you will find that it's a lot more tradable and usable. And on top of that, Flux is really good for a bunch of different things like crafting, making mutation serums, and just generally doing a lot of different things in the game. So Flux is very important, and if you do see a vendor with Flux in it that's going cheap, I would recommend buying what you can when you can. But that's pretty much it. I mean, if you guys learned anything or have any specific things that you think we should be spending our caps on in Appalachia, definitely leave it down in a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you guys. But other than that, that's pretty much it. If you learned something, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I'll catch you next time in the Wasteland. So that was today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. If you'd like to support the channel further, you can buy our merchandise, as you can see on the screen, at the Teespring link down below, as well as our super thanks button on all of our videos. On top of that, we also have our coffee QR code on screen, and you can become a channel member. And on the note of the members, let's thank them.